I'm going to start with a very powerful opening line in this video. Don't believe nothing you hear. Only believe half of what you see, but trust what you feel. Always trust what you feel. This has always been one of the most critical pieces of advice in the world. It's important you take some of this advice on board right now, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what kind of belief system you're in and what you believe in. There's a lot of confusion around the world, a lot of disinformation, a lot of conspiracy theories, and a placebo effect that's anti-clockwise worldwide, affecting fauna, affecting nature, affecting animals, and affecting our biological system worldwide. The shamans changing the planet with magnetic fields. Magnetic fields are affecting people all over the world in their biological system, in every human being on earth. They're oblivious to this at the same time, but it's causing the human conditioning to go through the roof with magnetic fields, spreading like a virus. They call it the zombie apocalypse or a comatization. Something in the atmosphere all over the world, changing a lot of circumstances both for good and bad. For both good and bad. Different magnetic pulses, different magnetic fields. Your EMP pulse in your biological system has a quantum mechanic. That quantum mechanic can be extremely powerful. Divine power to command nature. Most people are oblivious to this and do not know how to use this power. Have no idea because they're trapped in their mind. Trapped in psychology. Trapped in consciousness. Unaware of the outside influence on our reality. Unaware of the unexplained phenomenons that are happening to people all over the world and what kind of mentality they're in and what they believe in worldwide. You know, Jonathan Cahn wrote a book, The Return of the Gods, and he was chosen through natural selection. He wrote the book, The Harvest and the Dragon's Prophecy Unfolding. The Dragon's Prophecy. And those three books are very critical, right? When prophets can predict the future with deja vu, those people are naturally selected for a reason when they write books that unfold with events, and they were selected like this. Take Tom Thorne, who wrote Seaguys 225. A very powerful book. A very powerful deja vu moment as well, where he explains what happened to him in broad daylight when he goes into another dimension into the future and sees the future with deja vu and a prophecy. A lot of these prophetic people, such as Kim Clement, who died in 2016, he predicted 227 in 2013 and nearly faints on the stage and has to recompose himself. You can see that on YouTube. When you consider people that are naturally selected worldwide with unexplained area phenomena that sees deja vu and sees the future and starts to write the books that unfold with evidence, you have to pay attention to people like this when they can predict the future and their books end up becoming the evidence. Such as the Testimony of Drug Lord Reborn. This book predicts the future from 220 onwards and is perfectly correct. Has now become solid evidence and no one can dispute it. It's impossible unless you're mentally insane, which most people are. Most people are delusional worldwide, in a delusional state, mixed up with all sorts of belief systems worldwide. Confusion, frustration, delusion, and paranoia Stress, fear and anxiety, confusion, frustration, illusion, paranoia going out of control worldwide with drug pandemics and stress pandemics. Suicide rates, murder rates is going out of control with Hawaiian syndromes worldwide in peer reports where they're losing magnetic pulse. We now know the magnetic pulse is responsible for every single thing everyone's dying prematurely from. Stress related. Every single thing is stress related. Every disease we die from prematurely. We're getting younger all the time, declared by FDA. Okay, from generation to generation. We lost our 24th chromosome in dormancy in 1920. We lost our genetic memory with genetic tools in 1960. Our ancestral genetic memory with our natural abilities, our natural selection of life. Mental telepathy, ESP, remote you, and telekinesis, levitation, spoon and clock mining, folding space and time with deja vu to predict the future and prevent what's going to happen. We don't have these abilities anymore. Most people lie about it. They're confused about it. They only get visions and dreams because they live in their mind. Consciousness is a mental event, a mental process, illusion, imagination set up with the Rockefellers in 1640 into the conscious singularity by WF. Today, everyone's living in mentality worldwide. Their aura and their body cells anti-clockwise during the daytime can only be at nighttime. So their body cells go in corruption illusion during the daytime, and they die prematurely from stress-related diseases worldwide. They lost 50% of their vibrio bacteria in every human being on Earth in every study done. Between 50% and 100%, and that's their immune system collapsing. Their biofields are collapsing and their biological systems collapsing. That's what's happening to fauna. We lost 38 to 98% nutritionality worldwide, except for 2 locations that are 10 times more powerful. I made a lot of videos about this. And that's been studied and also been on Joe Rogan with Graham Hancock, that the soil in these locations and the fauna in this location is 10 times more powerful than anywhere else on Earth. There's a reason for that. I've explained in many videos with the biological evidence to back it up. Animals go around circles over the Earth. 550,000 cattle died like this in Australia in 2019 and 80,000 horses. In 2021, 550,000 cattle died like this in Kansas. And only 6 months later, 650,000 sheep died like this going around circles in Middle East. And it's been seen in locations all over Africa and many other locations where animals go around circles, like they're losing their bearing. Like they know something's going on, but the last time we have records of this was in the days of Noah. Birds falling out the sky in more than 850 locations. And studies done on this, they can't work it out except for magnetic pulse. Every single thing responsible is the magnetic fields going around the world, and there's fish going around the oceans now, right now in 17 locations. Okay, 4 places around America and many other locations around the world, just now recently. Birds falling out the sky, some get their bearing back like they have a vertigo, and they actually get their bearing back. We're seeing that with Hawaiian syndromes, people getting dizzy spells, pins and needles, insomnia and fatigue and vertigo, dizzy spells and vertigo, and concussion in hospital worldwide, and lost their magnetic pulse. There are 27 biofields. They have 32 senses. We have 32 senses. We live in 5 sense mentality 95 to 99% of the time. We only use our 6 sense 1 to 5%. And we can only repair body cells at night time. But 1.3% of the population is clockwise. Their aura is perfect. They have no mental disorders, no gene defects, but 98.7% of the population is riddled with parasites and gene defects. And these species live in denial the most. Worldwide declared 2003. They were told in 1999 worldwide they're in post-human stage and your parents are crazy as they're losing their next 6th sense for the 6th time in the 6th mass extinction. And everybody laughed about it and went on the screens 8 hours a day and got polarized into radio waves and screens in the 5 sense world. And that's where 98% of people live 8 hours a day on average on a screen. And the screens absorb them with addictions, massive addictions and unnatural selection, and trapped in their mind so deep into being artificial human beings and being actors all over the world and self-proclaimed prophets sitting on a screen all day, want to make a name for themselves with all opinions. And there's so many different opinions around the world, even for people that claims to be self-proclaimed prophets, all come out with so much different information from visions and dreams in their wild imagination, in their consciousness. And so many people around the world think they're chosen because they're controlled by stress, fear and anxiety in their body cells, going corruption corrosion during the daytime, and they live in denial about it worldwide. Well, it's the biggest stress and drug pandemic in human history, and most people lie about it, but they can't cope. Everyone's on drugs, even Joe Rogan, right? Illicit drugs or not, they're on mushrooms and drugs and weed all over the world, right? Even on Joe Rogan, everybody comes on there and drugs all the time. Everybody's on drugs worldwide. There's been a matter you're on just done in Australia, in the government's defence force, police force, and all the government workers in 2016, 80% were on meth. 80% worldwide. ADHD medication's gone up 36 times since 1994. America uses 1.5 tonne of meth every day, right? Mexico makes 3,300 tonne a year, okay, illicit drugs. Okay, they buy all the chemicals from chemical waste companies in 7 ephedrine companies. And they bring in 3,300 tonne of pseudoephedrine from these companies after chemical waste by one company in Mexico, and they make 3,300 tonne of meth every year. China distributes 1,200 tonne of meth, right, from their ports every year all over the world. Ice is the biggest using product worldwide. And amphetamine in the Nordic, by the truckloads. It's on the streets everywhere. A lot of people don't think it's in the Nordic. In Reborn in 2008, 2017 in Denmark, they busted a van there, and this is Little Denmark. Little Denmark, you don't find any meth in the streets, right? So I want you to think about this really deep. This is in Denmark and the Nordic. A van got pulled over in Reborn coming in from Germany. Okay, this was in the front page of the paper and it went straight underground. And I'll give you a lot of information about cops and politicians on this drug worldwide for a reason. 80% of the population was on this drug in 1980. They were on a happy pill. And I've made a lot of videos about this, right? But that drug is also an electronic magnetic device from graphene oxide that Hitler used and set up a plan with that Harari's doing today. And that was Gilgamesh's plan, Nimrod. Exactly the same plan they're executing today. That's why you got hybrids everywhere with UAP disclosures. Okay, you got synthetic human beings all over the world. And you don't even know that. Well, you don't even know who people are anymore. Because you're trapped in amnesia and a reincarnation trap and you don't know who you are. But you think you do. But you only think with your mind. You cannot think outside the mind anymore. So you can't use your natural selection and natural abilities anymore. So we cross people over the most powerful confirmation on earth. And believe me, this is natural selection taking place and it's judgment, whether you like it or not. Most people don't believe in that because they're trapped so deep in themselves with their own opinions and can no longer think instinctively outside the mind, as I told you in the Matrix documentary in 99. Those that think instinctively tune out of program because every person was program engineered with every single thing in their mind. Because they're programmed with artificial intelligence, evolution mutation by atheism, and designed that way by the Rockefellers into their conscious mind. So the conscious aren't aware of what's happening because they can only use 7 to 15% of the brain. You can see that in the movie Limitless with a drug that we developed. Red manna that crosses Moses used, okay, from the Sumerian tablets from a plant called mayam. We brought that most powerful truth serum in the whole world, and truth serum that brought people back in the primal state, use 100% of their brain, and went into the biggest DNA study ever done in human history, where Jeremy Gibbs wrote the book Freedom, The Cure of the Human Condition is going to Save Humanity, held by 16,000 top scholars of the world, the Holy Grail alive with We're Not Breathing program, the Holy Breath thereof, to recreate the sacred secretion, to conduct with your natural sacred secretion, to conduct with, which gives you an MDMA meth effect. Alert, alive, waking, aware with ecstasy, high as a kite, naturally and organically. That's a God-given gift that you have, right? To go into a new dimension with sevenfold wisdom knowledge, to cross over back in your primal state and control your vessel from the outside in, like Keanu Reeves does in the movie Matrix. So you can respond 7 times faster with sevenfold wisdom and knowledge, like you see in the movie Limits, a vortex of information that comes to out of the blue. The out of the blue is a light bulb here, right? The light bulb here, you can't see the light bulb, but it's also a portal into another dimension, into the past and future. And you have no comprehension of this whatsoever, because you're artificial human beings today are living in massive global denial. But you can't do these things, so you lie to yourself. And we cross you over so you can, to go through a massive transformation, DNA transformation, genetic memory, and a genetic process with ancestry tools. Some of us are chosen like this, and we avoid it the most by the rest of the public in the world because they're brain dead and brainwashed, can only use 7 to 15% of their brain, the highest IQ people in the world. So if we can master our mind, use 100%, you might want to listen to some of us, because we are rejected the most by the rest of the public because they're brain dead. right, brainwashed and gave consent, right, to the outside influence to control their reality, and they do not know what they do. Not when they're trapped in their mind like this, in their personality and mentality, and that's all they depend on with the religious, political cults and New Age cults, but they have no idea what they're doing. They only think they do. They have no idea. They can only use 7 to 10% of their brain in over 99%, and they have 600 to 6,000 defective genes, and their body cells go in corruption collusion in the daytime, and all they care about is their own opinions and themselves and their opinions. And everybody's running around saying they know the truth when they know nothing about the truth. They all know the truth. They're all away from amnesia and the reincarnation trap, and they're all full of BS as well at the same time. There's a little bit of truth to everything you're hearing, and a much more twisted fabric of truth that's been normalized by these new millennium age, as they continue to normalize what was immoral yesterday non-stop, and twist the fabric of truth to suit themselves in their own comfort zone on a couch potato in front of a screen all day and programmed by screens. Most people have been programmed by social media platform for the last 25 years in all their belief systems on a screen, not in real life. Most of their belief system has been generated from a screen, not from real life. And that's the astonishing part, how brain dead Americans really are, with the worst DNA, worst gene defects, and take the most drugs, lie the most with the most propaganda, and the most self-proclaimed nutcases that thinks they all know the truth when they know nothing about the truth and can't even deal with it in real life. Can't even deal with reality. They know nothing about what they think they know. Even people like Tommy Truth, Billy Carson, and Terrence Howard, they have no idea what's going on. They all think they do in America. Self-centered creatures, self-envy, self-pride, and it's all about them. All about me, all about me, all about me. All about me, myself, and I. They live by the law of Gandhi. They're capitalist pigs capitalizing their personality and actors all over the world that are not real. They're not real human beings. They're called post-human since 1960. There's nothing real about them. You can say what you like, but you're not qualified to judge until you cross back over in your primordial state, and 99% you don't care. We know that in your biological genes and your DNA. DNA is a book of life, and DNA doesn't lie and proves that you depend on it so much. You have no idea what you're doing. You only think you do. I know it's hardcore, but it is how it is. The UAPs did not come to you at all. Or none of the people that you follow. None of your belief system worldwide, and none of your artificial human beings worldwide know what they're talking about. They're all full of BS worldwide. They were not naturally selected. We were. Our books has become the solid evidence. We left our mark on earth like no other. And I can guarantee you, there's nobody else on earth like me. Take a look at my history. Do the research. The most powerful events in modern history with UAPs happens with me. The most powerful recorded evidence in the world, okay, with the biggest think tank, the biggest biological evidence, the biggest DNA studies done, the biggest miracles in hospital, international events at international securities systems, the most powerful international events recorded by their own documents, all lands with me, every single one of them. I can't make it up. I cannot lie. And I don't have to. The most powerful miracles in history has happened with me. The most powerful divine intervention, most powerful confirmation on documents has all landed with me. And you know what? Your people are delusional, shit scared, and tell lies worldwide. Do you know that? Every system is full of BS. Every human being on earth is full of themselves. Every system, every cop, every politician, every study, every biological evidence, every scientist, every professor, every doctor, and every single person in the world is delusional. They got no feelings and got no care and got zero faith. Zero. They all think they're heroes and they're zeros worldwide. They've got no aura in their body cells. In over 98.7%, they have no aura in their body cells. They have no positive magnetic fields. They just live in a delusion into themselves, in a comfort zone, and they don't believe in it. Well, then they're screwed, aren't they? That's why majority is going to be screwed. For that reason alone. Because they live in denial worldwide. Complete denial worldwide. They only live in their own truth. They only live in what they can handle and what they want to believe in, with a voice in the mind that's been designed and ultimately designed for human extinction. In their consciousness, in their mental event, in their mental process, in their illusion of imagination. The voices tell you to do it, and don't do it when you think critically. And they're just personalities. And it's in the wrong mindset, all developed like this. That's why you all suffer stress, fear, and anxiety, confusion, frustration, illusion, paranoia, and lie to yourself at the same time. But you can't fucking manage your system. You can't make a natural selection. You can't use your natural order. You can't think dimensionally. You can't think with remote viewing. You cannot think with deja vu. You cannot think correctly. That's your natural abilities, and they don't work. Do you want them back? Do you want to go back into a primal state? You want to be saved? Or do you think you're going to save yourself with the voice of mind that tells you to do that, and your cognitive programming? Is that what you believe? Then see how that works for you, because it doesn't work for any Christian pastor, priest, or New Age worldwide. They're all dying from stress-related diseases, every single one of them, except for the elect. And only the elect is not deceived. And it's not the idiots on a fucking screen, I can tell you that. It's not actors and self-proclaimed nutcases and idiots who mentally resonate on the screen all day. They are the artificial human beings the most. The ones that sit here all day. They can't function in real life and all suffering from stress and anxiety. And that's why they're all here. Because every person on social media platform suffers the most and lies the most and lives in a delusion the most and creates nothing but propaganda and their own truth with their own narrative and their own opinions. And everybody mentally resonates with idiots. Everybody mentally resonates with the idiots. With the robots, the zombies, the actors all over the world, and the self-proclaimed nutcases that lives in their mind with an illusion imagination, with visions and dreams, but no deja vu to predict the future and prevent what's going to happen. They don't have any divine intervention at all. They don't have any divine power. And I have the most divine power in the world and brought someone back to life with peer reports and CCTV with the most powerful poem written in 2003, the one and only. And they've studied this, and she's not the only one. I brought back to life 3 times, given 0% chance of living in hospital. And divine power brought her back to life, and she lifted 8 inches off the bed from one end to the other, and her heart started again. When she's given 0% chance of living, not once, not twice, but 3 times with CCTV. And she's not the only one in this study done. With me for 34 years and 16 years of DNA, I have the most powerful genetic memory and genetic process with genetic repair kit in every study done in hospital reports, medical reports, and they sat me down for 6.5 hours and told me in 34 years studying in think tanks, right, I'm the biggest mastermind on their reports, on 7 reports that I've done things that no one else has. I've designed things and used things with the universal power, divine power to command nature, right, to stop cameras at 6 international events. I walk through the airports, I'm not on one camera, every other person is, and there's not a glitch in the system. I'm on CCTV outside. And JP's confirmed I walked through there and confirmed with the conversation we had, and I'm not on the camera, but everyone else is. They couldn't explain it, but it became a confirmation, the most powerful confirmation. I wrote 11 months earlier I was going to do this on 3 official letters to Border Security, Immigration, and the governments. You unlawfully deport me, I will come back through the toughest basic regulatory system in the world, and you can't do a thing to stop me. God will create the most powerful confirmation on earth, and then he does. 11 months later, it's confirmed. Deja vu, and I tell Border Security, Immigration, and the governments on 3 official letters, if you unlawfully deport me, God will send me back through the toughest facial recognition system and security system in the world. He will send me back and you cannot stop me, so he does. So that's become the most powerful confirmation by head of border security, who flew up from Melbourne to Brisbane and walked in with a pass to Sarah in March 2017 in Brisbane detention centre. Go and confirm with Sarah. She had a massive divine intervention, came in with the head of border security and no officers. He was white as a ghost, and he said, Kim, you know the hub in Australia is the biggest security system in the world with cameras, CCTV worldwide, under the NSA system and border security in Australia with Australian Crime Commission, the biggest hub in the world. And Kim, we've confirmed that JP remembers talking to you at Brisbane International Airport, and he confirmed you own a red GTO Mustang. So you were right, he owns a red GTO Mustang. Not only that, Kim, you're on CCTV 1 minute outside, but inside there's not a glitch in the system. And you're not on one camera in 6 international airports, and every other passenger is in 6 international events. You're not on one camera, Kim, but every other passenger is, and you are listed with Interpol with a 6-page warning letter, and you had a 2-hour interview, Kim. You were told you cannot travel anywhere on facial recognition. You're registered at the highest level, Kim, in the whole security system. You are registered. You got a 6-page warning letter. You had a 2-hour warning meeting in Copenhagen when you were unlawfully deported. And you wrote those 3 official letters. And I didn't believe you, Kim, because you were not on one camera. So I said to you, how did you really get in, Kim? Because you're not on one camera, it's not a glitch in the system, and you nearly had me with those 3 letters, but you're not on one camera. And I told Border Security, go ask the JP at Brisbane International Airport. He owns a red GTO Mustang. He'll remember talking to me, and look at CCTV outside on the train platforms and all the trains. Take a look. I'm there. And I am. And they confirmed it. The most powerful confirmation on earth that God's ever developed. So why is it hidden from you? Why did they put me in a 747 with 55 officers with body cam and dictaphones? Why were they shit scared? With a divine intervention like this that proves that God does exist, with the most powerful confirmation by the biggest think tank and the biggest security system in the world, why did they shit? Because they're nefarious. Because the devil took over the world. The devil's taking over the whole world, don't you know that? Harari says we're taking out the natural selective life and replacement telling design in World Wide Web, right, with radio waves. He says we're creating our own gods with alien intelligence. Pentagon says, okay, UAP disclosure last year says, we have an outside influence in our rally. Jeremy Gibbons, the top scholar, says, we have a voice in mind that's ultimately designed for human extinction that controls the whole world. We have reports that American children are now born 77% with parasites and chronic diseases because their parents lived in denial in 2003. Complete brain-locked denial, and they live in their own truth and do what they're told every day. They can make 100% of people kill, and in vaccination mandates, they can make everyone take the vaccination when they have their back up against the wall and need money. They can make everyone cope now and do exactly what they want and take drugs by the truckloads with stress-related diseases going out of control with confusion, frustration, delusion, and paranoia, and people live in a comfort zone in their own truth and think they're heroes in the world, just to distract people and keep them away from what the real truth is, the crossover, the resurrection of humanity, the rebirth. And you know, there's certain people here with UAPs, right, that UAPs declared created the most powerful confirmation on earth. The stars within the stars came to me, told me to write these letters, and created the most powerful confirmation on earth. The orbs of light, the midnight light in Australia, come to me with 3 powerful miracles recorded that day. 3 powerful miracles recorded that very day. And that day I write the 3 official letters, and then it unfolds perfectly. And that's an orb of light that came to me when I was 5 years old, when I first, came here. I knew things at 5 years old, the future. No one ever believed me, said I was a freak of nature. I was always right, and my mum and dad was always wrong. They called me a freak of nature. When the Orbital Light came to me, when the boogeyman came, you know, the monster in the bed, when he came to me, he scared the shit out of me. Then the Orbital Light came and saved me and took me into a dimension and showed the past and the future. I said to my mum, Mum, where were we? What happened? She said, what are you talking about, son? At 5 years old. I said, Mum, I'm sitting in your arms and we're shit scared and there's bombs outside. We're sitting in the cellar and there's bombs outside. Mum, where were we? What happened? I'm having this nightmare. My mum lied to me for 50 years. She couldn't deal with it. She said I was a freak of nature. And I told her about many other things. She said I was a freak of nature. But that was her in her mum's arms in 45. And I was only 5 years old in 1965 when I told her. So it happened 15 years before I was born. And she lied to me for years, called me a freak of nature. But I saw things in the future at the same time. And I always predicted the future with 7 most powerful documents in the Gatekeeper Report in the Star Chamber in 1999 when the most wanted with godlike power on their documents. The most wanted with godlike power in their documents inside the Star Chamber Inquiry. Number 1 most wanted with godlike power. When they put direction microphones on me in surveillance, I could feel the truth and watch them in courts putting my name pinned to paper so I could prevent what's going to happen. I stamped an Indian number in such a way the X-ray machine 5 years later couldn't detect it. I'm on the front page as King Boss in 1992 in Brisbane Courier Mail. I'm on 17 current affairs shows in 1994 as a mastermind loopholes of laws and a mastermind in manipulation because I can unravel the system that you're manipulated into. I can unravel the whole system that you're all manipulated into because I'm a mastermind of my own vessel and my own mind. I don't have amnesia. I'm not trapped in a reincarnation trap. Everybody lies to me when they call me a freak of nature when I have a genetic memory that goes all the way back. So when my parents call me a freak of nature, it's because they lie and can't handle the truth. And that's why I got treated like shit in school and rejected and picked on all the time for being a freak of nature. And everybody was always wrong. I'm not a freak of nature. I'm not mental. You all are. You're the ones that are mental. You're the ones that are crazy worldwide and always say, I'm crazy, I'm a freak of nature because you can't do what I can do. And I put up with your shit my whole life. I put up with your crap my whole life. With your systems, with your artificial human beings worldwide, with your court systems, your court jargon, your cops, your politicians, and every lie in the world that's artificial. You can't think straight and use 100% of your brain. I can. And you're a jealous, spiteful, weak little coward, and you're a liar, and you rip yourself apart. You destroy yourself and everyone else you can in your mentality without realizing it. You destroy everybody around you in your mentality without you even realizing it. That's the placebo effect spreading like a virus, affecting everything in life that you support and spread like a virus in a 5 cents world, because you live in a 5 cents world 95 to 99% time in a massive global delusional state, and you can't wake up from amnesia and the reincarnation trap. You live in a massive delusional state. Until you cross over, you will never know. Like the movie Limits, when you come out of your shell and use 100% of your brain, until you cross over, you will never know. You haven't got to open hell. No matter who you are. You're going in a 6th mass extinction, stripped from the 6th sense for the 6th time. And if you're not in it, then you're not in spirituality. You're trapped in mentality, in a personality. You got to deal with this. You're going to have the thirst to go back in your primordial cell, in your primordial state, crossing over the resurrection. Keanu Reeves is the resurrection in the movie Matrix documentary. The resurrection. And right now we're in resurrection. We're going through judgment. Worldwide, through natural selection. You're going through judgment through natural selection. You're going through judgment through natural selection, through the resurrection of humanity. And I'm the only one teaching the resurrection and protect the elect with the right tools, with the right solution and the right success rate with results. Genetic memory, genetic process, ancestral genetic tools. And it's not negotiable. You can either go in your own belief system and do what you like and follow all the false gods in this world and all the false belief systems Or you go back in your primal state in the image you created into. So you can do what Christ can and more, like I can. With the most powerful confirmation on earth. I can do everything Christ can and more with the most powerful confirmation on earth. That means I know. You don't need to argue about it. You need to do what I say and practice what I preach, and then you'll discover yourself that you too can do everything Christ can and more in exactly the same primordial state. Everyone lies to you with their deceptions and their confusion, frustration, and their own truth trapped in themselves. Everybody, worldwide. And you know, you have to be aware of this. There's only one way out of here. And it's going back in your primal state, in your sixth sense, in your spirituality, and get out of your mentality. Get out of your personality. You can't be in both at the same time. You never could. You can believe all you like in your mind, but you have to cross over in your primordial state to be innocent. Selflessness. Not selfish. Not into yourself. And that's what everybody is. Into themselves. And they don't have the quantum mechanic of a relationship coded in their DNA with their biofields. So you have to restore your biological system. You have to cross over with your biosystem, with your biofields, biologically, DNA. Your mind doesn't know what it's doing, and the mind prevents you as you become your own worst enemy, and it plays tricks and games in you, and you are your own prison, your own warden in here, in the skull. Warned in Revelation by John, said by Jeremy Gibbs, the top scholars in the world, they found the cure for this. For the first time in human history, the cure of every single thing you suffer, and gain a new timeline, a crossover with sevenfold whistleblowers. To live of the tree of life, and the tree of life is Jacob's ladder, the Neuralink inside your biological genes. We're Not Breathing program recreates the sacred secretion and opens up the Neuralink with genetic memory. You go deep in We're Not Breathing, who's won a Nobel Prize, it recreates the holy breath of life, right, with the sacred secretion to conduct with. The book Freedom on audio, listen to the book Freedom, held by 16,000 top scholars in the world. It would take you through every rabbit hole to stick your head through the light at the end zone. The plate describes in 15 books. Take the red pill, you can't go back because you wake up from amnesia and you'll never go back in your mind ever again. You'll be free and go through liberation. And a crossover takes a 3.5 year transformation. But you start fasting right now, do win up every day, listen to the book Freedom on audio, and get off screens and radio waves, and don't be cognitive or judgmental or competitive with anyone. Isolate yourself, keep to yourself, mind your own business, don't eat for 40 days, take zinc, iron, magnesium, right, and take lots of water. That's all you need to do, guys. Don't worry. Look at Steve Bill. Yesterday's testimony from Steve. A grown man went into tears on his voicemail. Okay? And this is happening with miracles all over the earth. A confirmation, a clarification. They see it themselves and they feel the most powerful divine intervention with real love pouring all over them. And they break into tears worldwide in their innocence when they cross over. That's the moment you're saved. If you listen to Steve Bill, I put on my timelines yesterday. Listen to my followers and the testimonies. That's the moment you're saved. When you go through this and have this divine intervention where you get taken out of your cell, right, to the light of the inner tunnel, you have a confirmation. That's the moment you're saved and you never go back. Then you go for a transformation for 3.5 years, genetic transformation. Things will come to you out of the blue. And believe me, you must go through this, because if you don't, you're screwed. You need to restore your biological fields and your biofields and your biosystem. Your biological genes and your aura in your body cells goes clockwise with 130 nucleosome molecules and genetic repair kits with genetic memory. Genetic repair kit, right? Nucleosome molecules, genetic repair kit with genetic memory. We activate this with We're Not Breathing, who's won a Nobel Prize to recreate the second reason and restore the holy breath of life and restore the lung capacity and restore the biofuels. Jacob's ladder is the tree of life. Your Neuralink. And it doesn't work. With the gut feeling, survival mode, the chakra, the very self-preservation mode of life that activates two-minded mentality to preserve DNA. To preserve DNA. live by the relationship only. Loyalty, honor, respect, moments, inspiration, encouragement. They're the 8 tools of righteousness that gives you peace and harmony. Everything spawns up from there and comes automatically. Peace and harmony is a key factor in your EMP pulses, in your attunement to power. And that's a barcode system of loyalty, honor, respect, moments, inspiration, encouragement at its maximum power, which gives you a high ecstasy feeling that you'll create with When I Breathe In program. When you meditate and go into your sixth sense, close your eyes and meditate, and deep breathing process will recreate the sacred secretion to conduct and have a METH effect and MDMA with DMT and high as a kite. And you'll feel pins and needles all over your body, and you feel your biological system begin to change, and you get so high when you go deep and deep into the oxygen. Meditate every day. Listen to When I Breathe In, Jeremy Giver's the book Freedom on audio. Don't eat for 40 days, isolate, get off screens. Practice what I preach, and you'll get to the inflection point. And when you hit that inflection point, that's the point you cross over, and the inflection point is a point of no return. If you don't hit it, you'll never know. You'll be trapped forever. You'll be trapped and regret the consequences. If you cross over, it's the inflection point where you'll never go back. Then you're saved. Then you go for a transformation. Patience is a virtue. You go in a time where time stands still like yourself, and your genetic memory goes into longevity to create heaven and earth for 1,000 years with 10 times more fruit, with 10 times more nutritious value, because you're going to bear the right fruit with 10 times more aura, 10 times more power, 10 times more love, 10 times more everything. That's the future. That's the new timeline. Sadly, most people are not going to this. They will stay with this timeline and all their belief systems, with all their fake gods and all their fake tools worldwide. So therefore, they're going to sixth mass extinction, stripping the sixth sense for the sixth time. And right now, 98.7% of the biological evidence with the aura anti-clockwise is not in their spirituality, in their sixth sense. And DNA doesn't lie. We know that for a fact. 1.3% is in their spirituality with their aura clockwise 24 hours a day and not living a mentality in their personality. The rest are just actors all over the world and do not know what is going on because they cannot speak like this. They cannot talk about the crossover, and they've never stuck their head for the light in the tunnel. They're all going through the rabbit holes on the conveyor belt. Even the likes of Laurie Ladd and a lot of the leaders in the world in New Age are all on the conveyor belt going through the light in the tunnel. So they nominate themselves. They're all trapped. Every single one of them's trapped on artificial intelligence and artificial mutation with the grammar they select and the barcode then. They live on a screen all day with light, power, vibrations and frequencies, fake tools, artificial intelligence, and that's what they depend on the most. Everything by the science, everything that's been engineered on social media platform, and every radio wave and every drug they take. And all their brand new belief systems since 1960. Not one of these species can use their natural selection of life and their natural order with their natural game because they can't use them. All these brand new species all over the world are trapped in reincarnation, trapped with their own fathers and their own gods that would deceive you so much in their consciousness, which is only a middle mentality. And that's what they're all trapped into, self-centered ego in mentality. Those are thinking instinctive with you in our program. So no weapon from them against can prosper. And they have divine power to command nature with deja vu to predict the future events going to happen. Okay, they're righteous and have the most righteous DNA in their body cells. And DNA doesn't lie. That's why Jeremy Giver says it's all about a relationship and people do not know. Christ was right. That's what the top scholars are saying in the world. Christ was the only one that was right. We can do what he can and more through natural selection. No one else talks like that worldwide, but this is the most powerful declaration in the world, the most powerful merge, and everybody else on social media platforms a liar. They call this fake tools when they're fake to the shithouse. This is the most powerful confirmation, the Holy Grail of life and the Holy Breath of life, right? By 16,000 top scholars in the world and Nobel Prize printers. DNA, the Book of Life. We can do what Christ can and more. And if you're not in that mindset, then good luck with your system and your religious, political behavior and your New Age cults. Good luck. See how that's going to work for you. Because you cannot do what I can do and more. I'm the most powerful mastermind in the world. I'm the most powerful documents in the world with the most authentic DNA that led to this. My DNA, the Book of Life. So I am the witness that comes with the resurrection, with the cure of the human conditioning that's going to save humanity? Me. And everybody else, a crazy thief and a liar and a content thief and couldn't care less. That's what you have to observe about the truth right now. Everybody in the world, right, couldn't care less. Christ woke up at 24 years old for a 40-day fast and faced the demon head on. He woke up from amnesia and said, I'm son of David, son of Abraham. And I'm telling you, with my genetic memory, I'm son of Christ, son of David, son of Abraham, and the only one in the world that comes with a great resurrection in a 40-day fast and a 3.5-year transformation that only Christ could teach the disciples. And that's the only time in world history that's ever been achieved. And now, you're told you will not know him, but you know by the tools, the signs, the books, the moons, the stars, the prophecies, the land and my date of birth, and you'll know with the tools and the results. The crossover, 40 days, and transformation in DNA, backed up with solid evidence. I crossed people over back in their primal state in 3.5 years when they practiced what I preach. And Christ was the only one who could do that. And that within itself shows you exactly who I am. No matter what you think, because I'm the only one of a kind on every study and documents ever developed, with the most powerful confirmation with border security, folding space and time, with international events. So I'm the only one, and 5 biblical prophecies declared worldwide lands on my date of birth. 27 Holy Spirit divine light, scales for justice. I'm born 1960. I'm a king of all kings and metal rat. And it's not a fucking joke. It's a warning you're not paying attention to. Powerful warnings worldwide you are not paying attention to. That's not my problem, that's yours. But God developed the most powerful confirmation on earth with 5 signs, 5 prophecies, 5 declarations on my date of birth. Can't make that up. 99% of you are reptilian mentality, and I couldn't give a shit about you because you're all godly, moral creatures all over the earth, like the days of Noah, like the days of Lot. And God did not choose you with UAPs, and any divine intervention with the Holy Spirit and the divine light did not come to you. We were chosen, we are the elect, to save humanity. You're supposed to follow us and practice what we preach, to go back in your primal state, the crossover, the rebirth, the great resurrection. And you're in judgment right now by natural selection. And if you don't cross over by the 27th September, 2:27, the new climate clock, on a 2-minute video on YouTube, 7-year countdown, 2:20, 2:27, exactly 2,000 years from the day that Christ was baptized by John, 27 September 27, is the deadline and the point of no return. Like it or not, if you don't cross over by that day, you go into 6th mass extinction, stripping the 6th sense for the 6th time. And only those that get naturally selected, right, and cross over back in their primal state and they're innocent, are the ones that will be saved in the crossover and go in a new time, a new era, and never suffer a death experience and suffer mental disorders, stress, fear, anxiety, confusion, frustration, delusion, paranoia ever again. You need to create the relationship when you go into this for 40 days. Create the divine power to command nature, because it'll come to you. The divine miracle will come and take you right out of your vessel through the light in the tunnel, and then you're saved. Through that 40 days, you will revise your perception about your life since you were a child. You go right back to childhood in that 40-day fast. You'll go right back and value your life and put yourself on judgment and face all your own moral guilt and shame and everything that's happened to you, and you release it all. And you'll go back in your primal state, and it'll be the biggest wow factor you've had, but you'll release everything, face all your consequences, and go through a self-judgment. And then you'll break free, and then you're saved. Believe it or not, and that's a confirmation when you're saved. Steve Bill yesterday, believe me, he was just saved, went to the light in the tunnel, and had the most powerful experience, divine intervention, and confirmation with real love. He knows how the Father works through me, and many people do, but most don't believe nothing but their own mindset. And any person that throws stones at me in the Bible says they will surely be devoured. And I promise you, every human being that's ever turned on me, and that turns on me now, will be devoured. And it's not up to me or them. It's not up to me or them. It's what's going to happen, whether they like it or not. Because they're not the controller here, but they're all control freaks and control their narrative. The Father's in charge, and I'm telling you how it is. What you choose to do with it is not up to me, it's up to you. You can either take my advice and cross over, or live in your self-centered behavior and suffer the consequences, because I'm the one that's right and the rest of the world's wrong. And that's how it is, my friend. And it's not negotiable.